Yo, what's up guys, welcome back to another video. This is a reaction to strangest car features ever used, and it's from Ready for History, a channel that I've reacted to a couple times now, and yeah, I enjoy the videos. But strangest car features, I mean, there's only so many things you can do, right? Like, for example, what's a strange car feature I can think of now? I can't, to be honest. But yeah, we're gonna see, and I guess check out some things that I've never seen that used to be in cars or were tested with cars or whatever. But yeah, let's jump into this. Links are in the description to my Patreon if you want to see some more of my reactions that I can't post to YouTube. But let's just jump into this and see some things that people done with cars. I mean, I don't know. Again, I don't know if these are necessarily things that, like, all of them, if they were things that were actually like used in cars or if they were just tested. But it says used, so yeah, that explains my question. But yeah, let's jump into it.
The automotive companies not only try to keep up with each other, but they also try new things in order to separate themselves from the competition. It's an industry that is constantly evolving, which is great for the consumers. Many of the additions to cars have been wonderful, but occasionally there are ones that just make you scratch your head. In this video, we will have a look at some of the strangest.
I used to see, I think I used to have a toy car with this. What is this about? What is the reason? Is it just to look cool? This little thing over the wheel. Yeah, I had a toy car with this, and I was just a kid. I don't really understand, but it just reminds me of that.
In this video, we will have a look at some of the strangest features ever put into cars. On the 15th anniversary of the Oldsmobile Hearst, General Motors launched the lightning rod shifter. It's certainly strange to look at now, and it was then as well.
What the
The
hell?
shifter was for a 4-speed overdrive automatic, and it had 3 gear levers. This shifter allowed the driver to control the 1, 2, and 2, 3 shifts, and the third shifter gave access to the overdrive. A lightning rod shifter came with a hefty price tag, and it was really just too much work for those that wanted an automatic. Most people just wanted to put in a key and drive. This technology did not last very long. Automatic seatbelts started appearing in cars in the late 1980s and carried over into the 90s.
What is this? Wait, the seatbelt starting from here going... Wait, what?
Today we all know that seatbelt wearing is a law, and we understand the importance of wearing them. But when these came out, the laws on wearing seatbelts had just been enacted, and many people were in the habit of not wearing them.
What the...
These automatic seatbelts seemed like a good idea, but they really weren't. The seatbelt was only the shoulder strap, and it was activated and deactivated by the opening of the car door.
What the
As
hell?
people were still rebelling the seatbelt laws, many weren't buckling the lap belt and were only using the shoulder strap. The seatbelt also became a problem when you dropped something outside of the car and then you opened the door to get it. If you did this too soon, the belt would drive forward on the track, pulling you towards the steering wheel and the dash.
Oh, damn.
The automatic seatbelts also had issues with the motors, and eventually they would break. Sometimes they were stuck in the forward position or somewhere in the middle, and it didn't do any good at all. If it was stuck in the rear position, it could still be used, but most people didn't want to buckle 2 belts at the same time.
I've never seen that before.
This strange feature came from Ford in 1965. They wanted something different, so they hired an aerospace engineer who came up with the wrist twist steering system to be placed on the Ford Mercury Park lane. It was meant to change the steering wheel to 2 5-inch wrist-operated rings.
What?
The wrist twist allowed the driver to turn.
You'd have used... That would have been... It's the dumbest thing ever. If they use that now, you just use your wrist to flip and turn the whole car. That seems like it's... I mean, like, you just need... I feel like because you got both hands, it just gives you more control. Like, you just... If you were just having one hand, you could just turn it so easily. That would not be good.
Turn from the left or the right side, but it still worked in unison. This weird feature had mixed reactions, and most people didn't favor trying to learn how to use it. In the long run, it was steered away
Oh, you use both hands. What the hell?
from. No use in reinventing the wheel.
Yeah, I feel like you'd lose
The
control
swivel
easier.
seat by
The swivel seat. What the fuck? How is there a swivel seat? I mean, you can barely even move in your car.
Chevy has come and gone a couple of times depending on the car. These seats would not only turn and face the door, but they could also rotate fully around. This allowed the passenger to turn around while the car was being driven.
Oh, wow.
The idea seems great for the elderly, physically disabled, or even the women in dresses, but this swivel seat feature is not found in cars today.
To be fair, it does make sense. I mean, as long as you can adjust it to stay in place when you're driving, then...
In 1995, Honda thought it would be a good idea to place a shower in their CRV.
What?
For an actual RV or even a van, it does seem like a good idea. But for any other type of car, it seems a little strange. Perhaps if you worked outside, played in the mud, camped, or owned a dog, this would come in handy. But most people never use this. However, seeing someone using this could be interesting. The bad thing about this feature is it only had cold water unless your CRV was baking in the hot sun.
I mean, if it's hot, then it's nice. But if it's not really warm outside, then... I mean, if the weather's hot, then it's quite nice to have something cold. But other than that...
And who would want that? This shower plugged into the 12-volt socket, and it even came with a little tub to use. The Honda shower has been discontinued, but there are some aftermarket showers still available. The modern ones can even heat up your water. If you are driving a Mercedes-Benz, then you probably are a busy person. You never know when you might be giving a business associate a ride, and you don't want it smelling like the McDonald's that you had to sneak off and eat. That's why Mercedes-Benz developed the Perfume Dispenser for their car.
That's quite cool.
They searched the world all over for the perfect scent, which is a creation all of their own. This dispenser is kept in the glove compartment and is hooked up to the air system of the car. It can be activated as needed with either the heat or the air conditioning unit, and the scent travels through the vents. No one will ever know that you went cheap and you got the Big Mac. In the 1950s, cars came equipped with the standard AM radios, and it was a great feature to have, but it wasn't the most reliable. It depended on the strength of the signals and your radio antenna as to whether or not you had anything to listen to. Just like today, people love to listen to good music, and there was an attempt to give people that option anytime they wanted in their car. In 1956, Chrysler offered the Highway HiFi, which was really a record player for cars. This really wasn't a big hit because of several reasons. Who wants to lug your 45 RPM singles around? Not only did you have to worry about them being scratched, but the summer months could also be damaging with the heat.
Oh, damn.
The biggest problem came from playing the record and hitting bumps, which would make it skip. This feature turned
Oh, wow, I didn't even factor that in. What the?
out to be more of a hassle than it was worth, so it didn't quite catch on. Toyota came up with a cool feature in their cargo vans in 1984. Actually, it was not cool, it was actually freezing. They installed ice makers, and they were about the size of a shoebox.
Ice makers in a car?
People either loved this feature or hated it. Most people never even used it while driving and going down the road, but it could come in handy if you were actually camping. I'm sure soccer moms probably loved having the ice readily available for injuries. This feature was way too cool for vans, but it is something that you still see in RVs.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
RollsRoyce came up with the umbrella in the door in
Umbrella in the door. That is the most Rolls-Royce thing you could ever imagine.
2013. This strange feature, of course, is reserved for the rich, as it could cost around $1,000 to have.
Wow.
This special umbrella fits inside the door, and it is meant to be used by either you or your chauffeur. The holder in the door will also dry your umbrella within minutes, so it's not wet and moldy the next time you use it.
What the hell?
With this new feature, there are definitely no worries about forgetting an umbrella on a surprising rainy day. Jaguar Land Rover came up with a levitating gear knob. This magical knob could make you feel like a Jedi unless the battery was dead, and
Oh, the siren's going crazy.
then you can't use the force at all. This feature is certainly futuristic. All a user has to do is hold your hand over the knob and it will float up. Then just simply turn the knob to the gear that is needed. Those that have used this knob have said that it is made of high quality material and it has a nice feel to it.
Fair enough.
There was a time when many people sat in the bed of a pickup truck while going down the road. Unless you are in the country, this is rarely seen nowadays, except when you're at a parade. Subaru decided to make this trend a little safer by offering bolt-in bed seats in their little brat pickups.
That'd be quite cool, you know.
This feature would allow passengers the opportunity to sit in the bed and take in the rear view. These seats were made out of plastic, so maybe they weren't the most comfortable, but they were a better option than the metal. So how did Subaru make these seats safe? It certainly was not with seat belts. They had these cool
Oh, so there's not any seatbelts on there?
ski pole handles for you to hang on to as the driver slalomed in and out of traffic.
What the hell?
This next feature
What the hell is this car? This is not even a car. What is that?
is probably something you're not familiar with unless you have lived in Japan. Nissan came out with the S Cargo van in the late 1980s, and it came with a chime that went off when you hit the speed limit. The problem with this feature is once the chime went off, it did not stop even if you went below the speed limit.
Oh my god.
This actually drove the driver crazy, and the only way to turn it off was to turn the vehicle off. This car also had other issues. Every time the door was shut, the mirrors would need adjusting because they moved. It's also been reported that the radios were problematic too. After hearing all of that, I think I know what the S stands for in S Cargo.
Shit.
One of the most unique vehicles is a Reliant Robin, which came out in 1973.
Oh my god, I remember. I feel like I've seen a few people driving these before. This is just weird, man. You're just going over the top at this point. What is the need for this car? Did it actually benefit people in any way? Because from what I know, they just literally used to like. It made it harder, if anything, because you just. I feel like you get stuck or whatever. It's so stupid.
It featured 3 wheels, which consisted of 2 in the back and 1 in the front. The car was a hit in England and some other countries as well, but the concept never quite caught on with American automakers. The car was supposed to save money on gas, tires, and even insurance. Drivers received different insurance rates because it was seen as more of a motorcycle.
Oh, what?
In the 1960s, a new feature hit the market that was quite strange, and they were actually water balloon bumpers. In some ways, this doesn't seem too bad of an idea, but how useful were they?
Water balloon bumpers?
They were quite good for low-impact accidents, and in something like that, you probably wouldn't have much damage at all, if any. These balloons were installed on the front bumpers, and they would burst if the car was hit. Supposedly, they worked well, and they were used on taxis in New York, San Francisco, and Portland. The downside of using them was the cost to repair them. At that time period, it could run up to $1,100 to get them fixed.
Wow.
As a kid, I think I would have been in the business of tying water balloons on the front bumper for half the cost. When automobiles first came out, people weren't quite so sure about them.
Was this actually what a car? I don't know, when they first were being created. Would this have been like one of the things they tested it with? I guess it is, right?
They weren't as powerful as we see them today, and they could get stuck very easily. People were also accustomed to seeing and using horses.
Yeah.
In order to better ease into this transition, Uriah Smith came up with the horse head in 1899. The idea was to add a replica horse head to the front of an engine-powered carriage. The bigger issue of the time was not people getting used to the sight of carriages, but rather horses. Uriah thought this horse head placed on the front would make the horses get less spooked. However, it wasn't the horse head so much as it was the engine noise. This feature never fully caught on, but it did get a head start in the auto accessory market.
What the hell, man?
As more people started using cars, there were more and more accidents. Traffic laws were still developing along with who had the right-of-way. Apparently, there was a big problem with hit and runs in the 1920s. So, in the 1930s, a lawyer came up with the hit and run disc. It was meant to stop all the hit and runs from happening. If the driver hit someone, then the license number and the name would drop down from the bumper in large print so that it could be seen as they were escaping. Modern laws and technology with cameras and cell phones have made this old
That is crazy. They managed to do that.
feature seem very strange. Throughout the years, the car industry has seen many changes. Some of them have been good, while others are very strange. Can you think of any others that we missed?
I mean, this was a cool little look into how different they were and the different things they've used in the past and stuff. But damn, they've tried out some wild stuff. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this reaction. And if you've had a car with any of these features, let me know, because I mean, it doesn't really matter. But I just think it'd be cool to see people's perspectives on these things. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed. And until next time, like, subscribe, peace.